Edgar TV.
So, have you ever been to like an exhibition or seen a professional player play Super League or County and thought they're not quite playing up to their normal ability here, so what's going on? Well, the answer's quite simple, and it all comes down to the practice and the preparation that the players get to put in before the events. Now, I've mentioned in previous videos before that the PDC provide a perfect playing environment for people to prepare to play the best to their ability. Now, this goes down to Pro Tours, where normally you can expect about 2, maybe 3 maximum to a practice board, and also in your TV events where sometimes you can actually have a board to yourself, especially at the World Championships. So just how long do the PDC players spend on the practice board in order to get themselves to that peak performance that you're used to seeing on your TV screens? Now, as you can imagine, there are many different answers to this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a guide and a bit of a rough sort of estimate of a mean sort of average of it, because we've got Mervyn King, for example, who arrives with the riggers and gets on the first board that's set up, ready to get his customary 23 hours practice. We're on the total opposite end of that. We've got the man who really cares about literally nothing, Searle, who practically just rolls out of bed and turns up. He gets there a minute before deadline, which is 11 o'clock, and he'll get there about 1 minute to. So the first thing to look at here is the player's brief, and you'll see that the doors open at 9 o'clock, registration closes at 11, so that's your arrival window for when you can get there, and all the practice boards are open from this point, so you can just go in and practice as and when you wish. Now, there are some people that arrive at 9 o'clock, people like Glen, Durrant, Wright, but these are starting to dwindle off a little bit. The 9 o'clock club is actually getting a little bit smaller. It used to have about 15-20 members in it at one point. But what you tend to find with your 9 o'clockers is that they actually don't practice all the way through. What they do is a practicing spurt, so they'll come up and they'll have 15-20 minutes, then go sit down for 15-20 minutes, then come back up again. So they sort of stagger it out, so they have the same sort of amount of time of practice, they just stretch it out over a longer period. What you tend to find is most players actually arrive between this window, the 9:15 window and the 10 o'clock window. That is where pretty much probably 100 of the 128 players will arrive, bar the 9 o'clock club and the Searle club, because no one else does that. In this period, though, I would say that the players practice for longer periods and maybe just have one sit down rather than 9 o'clock club that tend to have smaller bursts. In this time, people sort of go through their normal practice routines and games, normally gravitate to the same sort of people, so you might have one person on the board and 4 on the others, because people tend to practice with the same people all the time. But those arrival times in place and people having a break in between, practice time before a game, I'd say, is between 2 hours to 2 hours 15 minutes, which actually is really interesting, because if you look at Edgar TV here, scroll down slightly, you'll see this video that I made just yesterday. To play better darts, how long should I practice? And in this video I break down a lot of theories and talk about a lot of myths and basically go over a lot of good practice tips and how to get the most out of your practice. And actually that 2 hour window is very, very close again to what the guys are doing before big matches. Interesting numbers coming here.
Edgar TV.
Are you enjoying the latest Edgar TV? Of course you're enjoying the latest Edgar TV, where at the moment we're continuing with daily updates and daily releases, and you can find those by hitting that subscribe button and joining us here in the Edgar Nation, right here on Edgar TV.